everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Callie. Today's video is going to be a summer book recommendation. As you know, summer is unfortunately coming to an end. However, you have a whole month to read these books I'm about to recommend to you. We're going to start off with recommendations for books that I don't physically have copies of. There are quite a few, so I do have them written down. But let me also say, these are in no particular order. I really enjoyed all of these books, and they all are 4-star reads and up, apart from one is 3 stars, 2 or 3 stars. However, they're 3 stars for me personally. I think they could be rated higher for you guys. The first book that I'm going to recommend to you guys is The Berry Pickers. This is by Amanda Peters. This book is set in Maine in 1962. It follows a child who goes missing from a local indigenous group. This is a very emotional book. Don't let the cover fool you. I thought initially when I read this that it was going to be a good, lighthearted read, and it is an amazing read, and I would recommend this to absolutely everyone. However, it's emotional. Like I said, I did cry while reading this. Also, on another note, this is one of my favorite covers ever. It's so simple, but does the job so good. The next book I'm going to recommend to you is Tom Lake. This is by Ann Patchett. I would highly recommend listening to the audiobook of this. I believe the narration that I listened to was by Meryl Streep, and it was incredible. This book follows Laura and her story. In the beginning of the book, we meet Laura and her 3 daughters. Her daughters are begging her to tell them the story of Peter Duke and how she knew him. Peter Duke is a famous actor. So Laura begins to tell her daughters the story of her summer at Tom Lake and her interactions with Peter Duke. Tom Lake is a theater company. The mood in this book is so good. The vibes are so good, okay? I also meant to tell my ratings. I rated The Berry Pickers 4 stars. However, looking back, it's probably more of like a 4.5 or even 4.75. Tom Lake, I rated 4 stars. The next book I'm going to recommend to you is The Great Gatsby. This is by F. Scott Fitzgerald. This is a modern classic, and it follows Jay Gatsby in the luxurious parties he throws, as well as some of his internal monologue and his, I don't know if I should say relationship with Daisy. If you haven't read this book, what are you doing? I rated it 3 stars at the time that I read this. However, I was 15, I think. So looking back, I think I would rate it higher, but this is a perfect summer read. Next up, we have The Wedding People. This is by Ashley Spotch. This book follows our main character, Phoebe. Phoebe goes to this hotel, checks in. She has plans that she makes. Look up trigger warnings for this book before I get too far into it. It definitely deals with some heavy topics. While it is considered a romance, the topics discussed in it are very serious. And I will say the topics that are discussed are handled in a very good and mature way. They are almost made a little bit lighthearted, but it's well done. Basically, Phoebe gets to this hotel. She has plans to do something. However, as she tries to check in, she notices all these people arriving, and the concierge at the hotel asks Phoebe, "Are you here for the wedding?" And Phoebe's like, "No. All these people are coming in. They're here for the wedding, obviously." And this story shows Phoebe's interactions with the wedding guests, the wedding people, mind you, and her internal monologue and struggles. Next book I'm going to recommend to you is Remarkably Bright Creatures. This is by Shelby Van Pelt. This story follows an octopus, Marcellus, and his internal monologue and relationship with the cleaning lady. This book made me cry. It sounds so stupid, but it is so emotional and well written and so incredibly well done. It's very profound, actually. You should read this. Okay. Moving on to the physical books, I'm going to recommend to you Malibu Rising. This is by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is my favorite Taylor Jenkins Reid book, as I'm sure you can see. I only rated this 4 stars when I read it initially. However, looking back, I think it was a 5-star. I need to reread it again to be certain. But if you don't know, this is a part of Taylor Jenkins Reid's Hollywood series. I don't know what it's called. They're interconnected standalones. This, Daisy Jones and the Six, and the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo all have characters that are interconnected. So, at the beginning of this book, you find out, actually, for this one, I'm just going to read you the synopsis, and you're going to have to bear with me. Malibu, August 1983. It's the day of Nina Riva's annual end-of-summer party, and anticipation is at a fever pitch. Everyone wants to be around the famous Rivas. Nina, the talented surfer and supermodel, brothers Jay and Hud, one a championship surfer, the other a renowned photographer, and their baby sister Kit. Together, the siblings are a source of fascination, especially as the offspring of the legendary singer Mick Riva. By midnight, the party will be completely out of control. By morning, the Riva mansion will have gone up in flames. But before that first spark, in the early hours before dawn, the alcohol will flow, the music will play, the loves and secrets that shape this family's generations will all come rising to the surface. Malibu Rising is a story about one unforgettable night in the life of a family. The night they each have to choose what will keep them from the people who made them and what they will leave behind. What else do I need to say? Read this immediately. If you take anything from this video, take this, and I'm going to move some things around here. Take this and Circe by Madeline Miller. 4 stars. This was a 5-star read, off the bat. It is amazing. It is a Greek mythology retelling. Madeline Miller's writing is incredible. She is my favorite author. It's so lyrical and beautiful and all of the good things. A lot of the criticism that I see behind this, and another one I'm going to recommend to you, is that they're slow. However, these are mainly character-driven storylines. You see Circe's character development, and I'm going to read you the synopsis for Circe as well. In the house of Helios, god of the sun and mightiest of the Titans, a daughter is born. But Circe is a strange child, not powerful like her father, nor viciously alluring like her mother. Turning to the world of mortals for companionship, she discovers that she does possess power, the power of witchcraft, which can transform rivals into monsters and menace the gods themselves. Threatened, Zeus banishes Circe to a deserted island where she hones her occult craft and crosses paths with many of the most famous figures in all of mythology. There is danger, too, for a woman who stands alone, and Circe unwittingly draws the wrath of both men and gods, ultimately finding herself pitted against one of the most terrifying and vengeful of the Olympians. To protect what she holds dear, Circe must summon all of her strength and choose once and for all whether she belongs with the gods she is born from or the mortals she has come to love. Circe, my love. The next book I'm going to recommend to you, I have a copy from the library, however, I'm not sure where it is at the moment. I'm going to recommend to you Medusa's Sisters. This book is by Lauren J.A. Baer, and it is a Greek mythology retelling, as is Circe, obviously. It tells the story of Medusa and her 2 sisters, who you probably don't know anything about. The writing is incredible. It is very strategic, while also being lyrical, and it's so beautiful. I am about halfway through, and this is a 5-star. I'm not going to say it yet, but I have a very strong feeling that this will be a 5-star read. This book is also mainly character driven, however, the plot is moving along at a good medium pace. The next book I'm going to recommend is Wild Love. This is by Elsie Silver. This is the first book in the Rose Hill series. I have read, I can't remember if I read the 3rd one or not. I don't think so. The first book is Wild Love. The second book is Wild Eyes. This was a 4-star read for me. It was great. It takes a lot for me to rate books 4 stars, especially romance books. Most of them are 3 stars for me. So, yeah. She's been driving him wild for years, the good kind of wild, the bad kind of wild. Ooh, this one is about Rosie and Grant Ford. Yeah, this series is so good. The second book is Wild Eyes, also by Elsie Silver. I gave this one 5 stars. Literally, my review. That's all I need to tell you to read this book. It's also small town romance. This one is a little bit different. It is a single dad trope. The next book I'm going to recommend is Betrayed by Emily Henry. This is my favorite Emily Henry book. I see a lot of people saying that this is more women's fiction than romance, which is simply not true. There's nothing wrong with this being a romance and you loving it. That kind of demeans the genre as a whole. However, this does deal a lot with our main character, January, and her internal conflicts. Her dad has recently just passed away, and she goes off to a lake house that he had left her. I cried reading this. I rated it 4 stars. Probably looking back, 4.5 now. It is one of my favorite books, and I would recommend it to everyone. So the love interest in this is August, and he writes literary fiction books. January is also an author, and she writes romance books. In this book, they go on multiple dates to try and get them out of their writing slump. They are both trying to write a book in the opposite genre. It's just incredibly well done. I think the main thing I didn't like about this was the third act conflict. Some romance books, I truly don't feel it's necessary to have a third act conflict as long as there is stability in the relationship. And I don't think third act conflict is a bad thing. However, a lot of it is just so unnecessary. The next book I'm going to recommend is Pride and Prejudice. This is by Jane Austen. I gave this book 3 stars. I liked it. However, the movie will always have my heart. It is perfect. It's a perfect movie and so nostalgic. It's so good. 2005 version, of course. No other movie exists. The reason that I didn't rate this book super highly was just because of the pacing. There is no reason for it to be almost 400 pages long. And I love a good long book. But this was just slow. It is a classic and an important piece of literature, especially from an English standpoint. So I would recommend that you read it. It is worth your time. And I think there are definitely a lot of people who will enjoy this more than I did. The last book I'm going to recommend is We Were Liars. This is by E. Lockhart. There's been a lot of buzz surrounding this. I read this when it first blew up, like a long time ago. I don't even know what year that was. Around COVID, before COVID? I'm not sure. I was young. If you don't know, this book is about a family, the Sinclairs, who have a private island that they visit every single summer. This was the first thriller I ever read. Looking back, I probably would have guessed the ending and the trope, but for it being the first thriller that I've ever read, I was shocked. I would never have guessed the plot twist. If anyone asks you how it ends, just lie. We are Sinclairs. We live, at least in the summertime, on a private island off the coast of Massachusetts. Perhaps that is all you need to know, except that some of us are liars. It's so good. The summer vibes, immaculate. The writing was honestly really good. Another one of E. Lockhart's books that I would recommend is Genuine Fraud. I think I gave that book 3 stars. It's also a good summer read if you want to check it out. It is young adult, as is this. But I think that's all I have. Obviously, there are so many other books that I've read that would be good summertime reads. However, these are my top tier. My top tier 4-star favorite summer reads. Let me know what you want to see next. I'm kind of running out of things a little bit, but thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you next time. Make sure to like and subscribe.